Hey guys, just wanted to do a quick video here on the Vivosun 6-inch clip-on fan. These are typically used in grow tents. Overall, really like the fan. The clip is very strong. It has some padding on the inside of it. Hangs onto the poles very well, as opposed to some other fans I've used. You can lock in a tilt angle on it, and best of all, it has oscillation on it, and 2 speeds as well. Motor seems of good quality, has good weight to it, but there is a problem with these. For some reason, during manufacturing or during installation, and you'll see in a minute, Vivosun or whomever manufactures the actual product actually ties a knot with this power cord inside of this kind of harness here. And what happens is, within a week or so, I had 2 fans do the exact same thing. When it's pulling and twisting on this wire, when you're oscillating, I just turn the oscillation on, it ends up twisting that wire, and I found that the wire actually breaks inside of that knot. You can hear the fan going on and off as it turns. See that? And eventually it's just going to stop. So I've come up with a solution for this. I could just take it back, try and find another solution, but again, a really good fan, wanted to keep using it, so I decided to go ahead and fix it myself. So yeah, put you on pause here and be back in a sec. Alright, so just a quick heads up, the tools you're going to need to repair this or kind of fix the design or whatnot. Basically a normal sized Phillips head screwdriver, a couple of small morettes. I mean, there's other ways of connecting wires, but typically this is the easiest way, especially for like 220, or sorry, 120. Then you got your wire snippers, and pair of side cutters just to kind of cut the wire, or you could use scissors. Yeah, and that's what you're gonna need. So first thing you're going to want to do is remove the base that came with it. It already came detached, so you should be familiar with detaching that. And then next thing we're going to do is remove this Phillips head bolt, or screw, sorry, on the back. And then there's also one on this knob here. And please make sure it's unplugged. And just a quick tip, I found that holding this oscillation on-off button up, it's easier to get the screw out. Alright, so now we've got the cover off, relatively easy process. We can see our wiring, our motor. Now initially, my assumption was that because you essentially have a stationary part, so your clamp would be here, and then you have a moving part, which is your head, that the wire was kind of pulling, and I thought it might be pulling on these connections here, but it's not actually doing that. I went through all this and kind of played with it while it was plugged in. Don't recommend you do that, but I was trying to find the fault basically. And then I noticed inside of here a knot, which I mean makes sense. You don't want the wire to just be freely sliding in and out, I guess. But I guess the gauge of wire they chose, or maybe just the sheer quality of this wire, cannot take a knot. Within 7 days, within 3 days, one fan broke, and then today, 7th day, the second one died. So yeah, what we're gonna do is we're gonna have to cut this wire. I recommend you cut it right around here to give yourself some play on this end when you're reconnecting it. So you'll probably want about that much wire to give yourself some play. So I'm going to cut it right about there. And for now, we're just going to pull the wire back through like that. So I'm actually going to use scissors and blammo. Done. Relatively easy. So pull this back, pull this up, and now you're going to see the knot. Just give me 1 sec here. Sorry, there we go. So that's the knot. So the break is 100% inside of this knot. So what I'm going to do now is give it a little space, and I'm going to cut this wire again right here. And after that, I'm going to use my wire strippers. This gauge is actually working quite well. It's 10 gauge. So 10 gauge was working quite well to strip these wires. Alright, so there's your knot, and literally, see you later. Don't need that. So what you're going to want to do here to split these wires, I mean, some people can just muscle them apart, but I find it's easier just to grab your side cutters and just carefully line up your side cutters. So it's hard to do with one hand. Snip it, and then it kind of separates it so you can just pull them apart by hand. Alright, so I've used my strippers, and I've stripped my wires, as you can see. And what we're going to want to do now at this point is get this wire out of this harness. This is the whole issue. And I mean, some may debate now the problem will be solved and you can just leave it like this. I mean, that's fine. Give that a try if you want. I've also seen a good buddy, the Happy Grower, on Instagram. He actually drilled a hole right here, a nice big hole, so that the wire can freely just hang straight down rather than be put through this weird little harness where it gets all binded up. So that's worked really well for him. Cheers to him for even inspiring me to try and fix these fans. He responded on one of my posts for reviewing these fans. So cheers to him. So what I'm going to do now is use the morettes here to reconnect these wires. Now, make sure you inspect the wires. One side's going to have writing on it. I don't know if you can see that. You can kind of see it there. One side has writing on it, one side doesn't. So you're going to want to find the writing on both sides, match them up. Easy peasy. Twist the wires together, then put the morettes and twist them on nice and tight. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself here. This is kind of my reroute solution. So before you go ahead and do the morettes and the connections, where I actually decided to route the wire is right through here. So what I'm going to do is just put on pause here, route the wire through to show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so back of the fan, you're going to want your wire part on the inside obviously so we can connect. Plugs over there, but yeah, I used the one of the rear vents. The wire actually fits through there perfectly. So yeah, now I'm going to go ahead and make the connections. Alright, so I've made my connections. I mean, some people electrical tape things. You know, I don't really do that. That's what fuses are for. But anyways, you could electrical tape that, but if you do it properly, it's on there good. So you just basically pull the cover back through, and we're just going to place the cover back on and basically make sure all that's housed in there nicely. Right? And there's our wire coming out there. Oops, sorry, a little bit of blood there. Alright, so I got my back screw on relatively easy. It's just kind of a reverse of what we did earlier. Just a quick tip on putting this back in. There is a flat side. So you got to check the flat side on the inside of this in order to make sure that it's sitting all the way down before you can get the screw to start catching thread. Alright, so we're all plugged back in. Yeah, there's kind of what she looks like. I'm going to turn on the oscillation and give her a rip. Oops, sorry, that's turning off the oscillation. So now there's nothing in the wiring that's being tied to this mount. So the wire is free to move around as it wants, reducing any kind of issues that you get from having a stationary object fighting with a moving one. Anyways, hopefully there's some resolution for this Vivosun can come up with. I'm sure they will. Again, love Vivosun, no knock to them. Love the fan. I'm sure they'll do something. But yeah, follow me on Instagram at Canada Loves Cannabis. And until next time.